All right. So today we're going to talk about the confidence code. And we know confidence is key in a lot of areas of our lives, not just for those of us that want to compete. And my name is Holly Loss. I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. I am almost a 25-year veteran of doing professional makeup artistry, and I work in public health in the capacity of chronic disease prevention. So today, confidence, and we're going to talk about confidence in an entire spectrum, not just as it applies to competing, but in life. Because a lot of times we will hear confidence is a mindset, right? Someone, you're like, wow, you're really confident, whatever. And they're like, it's a mindset. And to an extent, yes, it is. It is. But it's not just a mindset. Now, if you're like Generation X, it's like, fake it till you make it. That's another thing gets thrown out. Fake it till you make it. Well, some of us are not good at fake it till we make it. Because what we are is unsure until we figure it out, stumble 10 times, and then maybe we'll make it. And that stumble and fumble makes it harder to feel confident. Right? And I think that as a whole, not just because of social media, but just society in general, we tend to measure ourselves around the people we're surrounded by, whether in our professional lives or family lives or in our social groups. And, some of us were taught growing up that your worth is based on what you produce, on what you achieve. And that's almost like doing strictly cardio and getting ready to compete. It will always demand more of you. And somehow you'll never quite make the bar because it's constantly moving.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be detrimental. That can be hard. And that is a valid hard. That is a valid feeling. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. That is a very human feeling. And I know that's something, we don't sit around in groups of men or women and talk about the ways we don't feel confident. We don't have like wine sessions or coffee sessions talking about those things, because in order to do that, we have to make ourselves vulnerable. And being vulnerable is hard because it requires us to take a mirror and look long and hard at the parts of ourselves that we already feel unsure about. And that's hard. So let's strip confidence down to what it is. In order to love something or hate something, one of those has to be present. Otherwise, you wouldn't care. So in order to feel confident about something, you have to feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we could say it's a mindset, right? And I guess for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, hell, even for an hour, you could fake it till you make it. Right? I mean, I'm sure we've all been thrown into awkward situations where someone's like, hey, and they throw you underneath the bus and you're like, and I'm going to talk about sea turtles for the next 10 minutes. Like I know what I'm talking about. And I don't even know what one looks like.
I come from a horse show world. I showed horses for 20 years, and the judges all the time or my trainer would throw me in a class like last minute. And the judge is like, fake it till you make it. I'm like, okay.
Right? Yeah. So you're like, I guess I can do that, right? I guess I have a little bit of enough knowledge, right? You're like, I know I've been around horses my whole life. So I have a little bit of everything, but I may be able to jumble it together to do this because you threw me underneath the bus and I'm going to fake it till I make it, right? But when you're going through something like gearing up to compete or even aspiring to compete or even attempting to make just a complete lifestyle change, those aren't 10 and 30 minutes here and there. That is a constant battle with yourself, battle with social settings, battle with how did I get here? What am I doing? Why did I think I could do this? Feeling really good and then walking to the gym and being like, I don't know where that went this morning, but she's gone.
I look at it as a way, like when I started this journey a while ago, and then I think it was in May that I started with Sarah. The fake it till you make it thing for me personally is if you fake one meal or one exercise and then to me, it's a lifelong thing. I'm not just doing the healthy eating and working out as far as just for the competition that I'm trying. This is like a lifetime thing because I've gotten to where I'm at. So faking it is pointless. And you got to stick with it on the choices of your friends saying, let's go do this or that, or I have a family dinner coming up this week. And I'm like, where are we eating? Because I need to know now. I know we're not going to dinner until Wednesday night, but I need to know now.
Yeah, I need to plan. I need to plan ahead. I want to be able to enjoy this with you, but I have to feel like I'm allowing myself to enjoy myself, but I'm still aligned with my goals.
Yeah.
Girl, you are like a poster child. I just will post you up right now and be like, what she said, because it's hard for some people to grasp that concept. And there's nothing wrong with them not being able to. It's, when we tell people the biggest battle you will have when you attempt to make a lifestyle change, right? And a lot of people come to compete for a variety of reasons. They could have had a life event. They could have had a health scare. They could be going through a divorce. They could have lost a lot of weight. They could have gotten through a really detrimental illness and they're like, this is a wake-up call. It could have been a lifelong dream. Somebody at some point told them they'd never amount to anything, whatever, right?
I think I did all those but the divorce for this.
Yeah, right. But but that's only going to carry you so far. And if you're only doing it for that reason,
no.
At some point you lose sight of things and realize you're no longer doing it for you. You're doing it in spite of all those things on that list. And then you're miserable because, as Sarah says, you forgot your why. And your why was you originally came and said, I want to feel good about me.
Yeah.
I want to set a goal and crush it. And that's that little voice of confidence going, you can. Yes, you can. But just like that sight that we lose sight of, right? That initial goal, that voice doesn't get built. It doesn't get built. It starts out like a little roar, sometimes a big roar, but it's actually a little roar in a small scheme of things. But it is very easy to lose. Like you just dropped it out of your pocket the minute you said it out of your mouth. And the reason being is because we always say you have to learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And the more you embrace the uncomfortable, the more you embrace the mind F's that you will go through up and down in any journey, the more you embrace your self-doubt. And I'm going to assign homework and say, you need to talk to yourself in the mirror. You need to get up and talk to yourself in the mirror. And I'll throw it out there. When is the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and told yourself you're beautiful?
It's been a while.
When is the last time you woke up and said, I deserve to do X, Y, Z?
This week.
All right. So you're getting there. And notice I said I deserve to do, not I deserve to have. I deserve to do this because I love myself.
And that's the one that I did this week was by doing this of prepping and everything. It's like, I deserve to do this. And I mean, I'm loving it.
Yes, I deserve to love myself. As parents or spouses or significant others, it is, I deserve to take this time for myself. Because a lot of people rush home and they feel guilty. They feel guilty for going to the gym. They feel guilty for buying healthy food. They feel guilty for switching things up. They feel guilty for practicing posing. They feel guilty for meeting with their coach because, again, we're judged on how much we can produce. But we never consider what we produce for ourselves as being productive.
That's a lot of like what I have. I do stuff in the morning and in the afternoon or evening after work, but that's where I take time for myself to do whatever it is. And even though we have work and schedules to do and rush through things, I still make a point to make time for myself in the morning or evening, or Sunday's my meal prep day. So Saturday is where I go to the grocery store and get everything that I need for it. And Sunday morning by lunchtime, I'm done with the meal prep for the week, and then that Sunday lunch is to me, my little treat, of what it is and try something new for the next week and stuff like that. But it's very hard to get in that mindset of it's okay to do those things.
Absolutely. It's okay to take time. We often hear people say, well, I have to make time. I have to make time for this. We cannot make more than 24. We can't. You're not making anything. You're going to have to learn balance, and you're going to have to learn how to take. And again, when we're raised to give, produce, taking feels very uncomfortable. And that taking and that uncomfortableness will knock our confidence. And that's just in the journey. Now let's talk about confidence in the gym, or confidence posing, confidence getting in front of people, strangers at that. Because I could say, go put your bikini on right now, go put your posing suit right now and walk outside your front door. You'd be like, no.
Yeah, on that part.
No. I could say, put it on Good Gracious where you'd be like, oh no, you don't lost your mind. No. But the thing is it's a costume just like anything else. You ride horses, you got your riding gear. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's just part of it is for me this stereotypical in your brain of going out, and for us women, as far as bra and panties, that's what the suit
You feel
is,
naked.
So like I was going to a family function and they're like, are you going to wear your suit? I'm like, no. And my mom's like, but you're going to do this in front of people you don't know, but you won't do it in front of family. I'm like, yeah, I got to work on that. And that's why when I saw this come up, I'm like, I need to do this now.
I need to meet your mom. I'm like, come here, lady. Let me give you a hug. Come here. Oh, meet your mom. Yes, she has a point. But again, to step in front of people we know is actually harder than strangers.
Yeah.
Because strangers, you can convince yourself, I'll never see these people again, no matter. But you won't have that conversation with yourself until literally you're getting there and you're like all wrapped up checking in. And then you go in the back and you're like, what do you mean I need to take off my sweatshirt and robe and my pants?
I'm already like fearful of the spray tan the day before right now.
Well, no different than going to your gynecologist. If you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Honestly, though, everyone's going to be in the same boat. So,
we hear from so many people, like, I felt so like a fish out of water, but then I realized, first of all, everyone there, regardless of what their face says, is feeling the exact same thing that you feel. Everybody. Now, I would suggest to you, if you can, if the thought of going into that arena to get that spray tan is uncomfortable, start getting a spray tan from time to time. Go get your first one in private. There's people that do it, different salons, things like that. Don't go to one of the ones with machines. Go get a custom airbrush tan. Because a lot of times where we have that fear or that not feeling confident is because it's the fear of the unknown. We don't know what to expect. We don't know how it works. We kind of can imagine, but there is that fear. If you want to know what, the vibe is at a show, go to a show. And I can tell you that regardless of whoever gets on that stage, everyone, if you even talk to like professional athletes or you talk to like people who sing for a living, musicians, everyone has those nerves and self-doubt. Just some of us are a lot better at hiding it. Because no matter how much you love something, there's that moment of vulnerability. And if that's what we don't talk about, is that moment of vulnerability of, dare I say it, imposter syndrome. All of a sudden, I don't belong here. And that's a feeling. Mm-hmm. No one told you don't belong there. And if they did, throat punch them. But no one's telling you don't belong there, but you get it inside your head. Now, you've done the work just like everybody else. You've been through highs and lows just like everybody else. Everybody in that room, when you go to compete, is there for a very similar reason. There is something in their life that caused a catalyst to make the desire to want to do this. And they have been up and down a roller coaster for weeks, days, months, years, trying to claw their way to get there. And you were all just pumped up. And then we get there and you get that like imposter syndrome, but a little bit of performance anxiety. That's a natural feeling. That is a valid feeling, and again, if you start having those hard conversations with yourself, and I'm not talking about conversations inside your head, and I'll tell you the difference. Okay. I'll tell you the difference, because you can say a bunch inside of your head and it is just inside your head. Think about the last argument you had with somebody that you love, and I mean love deeply, right? And you have all these things inside your head. Did you say them all out loud?
No.
No. Because that would require you to be vulnerable. And it's hard. So when things are hard and you're feeling vulnerable, speak it out loud. If people say speak it into existence, I'm going to say speak it out loud. Learn to say the hard things that you are feeling out loud. Remove the elephant from the room. I don't give a shit who hears you or who doesn't, who's around you. If they want to ask a question, it may prompt you to have a deeper discussion, and that will be healthy for you. Very uncomfortable, but very healthy for you. So, you know, if you have to say out loud, I belong here. Or I look good today. Or you know what? I love myself. Or even if it's, again, I'm not a big fan of, but I'm just going to fake it till I make it. Say that out loud. And it will actually boost, whether you realize it or not in the moment, it's going to boost your confidence. Because you kind of like face fear a little bit and took it off the table by speaking it out loud. And those discussions with yourself out loud, whether it be in a mirror, while you're driving in your car, you're sitting in your kitchen, you're sitting at your desk at work, I don't care. The more you address your fears and you speak them out loud, it makes them less scary. And all these mental things are the precursor to putting on that suit. And you're like, Holly, none of this has to do with how I feel in my posing suit in public. It does. It absolutely does. Because what you feed here and what you feed here and what you feed here and what you surround yourself with is what you are. So if you talk to yourself like trash, you're going to feel like trash, right? You're hurting yourself. You don't even realize you're doing it. And again, you're all guilty. We're all guilty of it. We all do it. We are our own worst critics, most judgmental, most harsh. And I ask you right now, would you talk to your friend that way? Would you talk to someone you love, respect, admire that way?
No.
Why are you talking to yourself that way? Right? And these are the conversations we don't have out loud. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone that you love. Because deep down inside, you love yourself. Talk to yourself like someone you respect. Because deep down, you respect yourself. And if you are struggling in those areas, and again, those are very valid human feelings, have those conversations out loud. Work your way through them, but working through what's going on in here in our hearts and what's in our minds, or if you're spiritual, even whatever's up in the universe, working through those things out loud, having those hard discussions with yourself is absolutely the precursor to public speaking, whether you're in front of 2 people or 2,500 people. It is your precursor to advocating for yourself, whether it be with family, friends, someone you're getting ready to hire to paint your house. It is a precursor to getting to the gym and feeling confident instead of that self-doubt of, I don't know what I'm doing here and I'm having a bad day and I think I just want to leave. Or how many of us have said we're going to go to the gym and we've had a day, and you get there, you get in that parking lot and you sit there for 10 minutes and you get in your car and you go home. And again, you can tell me that's never happened. But I'm like, one of us is wrong. It's rude to call people a liar. So I'm just going to say one of us is mistaken. So
That's why I like with going to the gym, there's a group of us that we talk and everything. And I haven't been in the gym in a while. I've been doing stuff from home, but I told them, I was like, I'm coming back. And they're like, we're going to be there waiting for you. And if I don't show up, they will come and literally get me out of bed or whatever.
And those are your people, right?
Yeah.
Those are your people.
That's like when I thought about doing this, I messaged one of them that helped me in the gym originally. And she's like, do it. And she just checked in on me a couple of weeks ago. And she's like, how's it going? And Sarah sent me a before and after photo from, as the progress, and I sent it to her. She's like, holy crap. And then I told her I was coming back to the gym. She's like, please come back.
Yeah. So let me ask each of you here. And you can either put it in the chat or you can speak it out loud. And this isn't class, so you don't have to raise your hand. But when it comes to confidence, what do you feel is like your biggest deterrent or the hardest thing? And it could be a part of your journey. It could just be in life in general. It could be geared towards posing, competing. It doesn't matter. Like I say, bring it all to the table because it's all relevant. It's all valid. So I ask you, where do you feel like you struggle most? What is the hardest thing?
Mine is my vision.
Okay.
I'm blind in my right eye.
Okay.
So I feel that is a burden.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've had a lot of people help me get through it and get over it.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to do this.
Well, first of all, I commend you because you made yourself vulnerable. And that's hard. And whether you realize it or not, but girlfriend, you're a warrior. You're a warrior. You're doing some hard right now. It's hard. You rely on your sight, right? If there's a part of our body that isn't functioning and we can't fix it, no matter how hard we try, that is so hard. And every day you wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do because I love myself. I want to love myself. I'm trying to make peace with something I haven't had any control over in a really long time. And that absolutely makes you strong and a warrior. And you absolutely deserve to feel seen and heard. You absolutely are going to go and crush your goals. And you absolutely are going to take that stage and you're going to run out of it. Yeah. And if need be, and I say this, whether you do or don't, but just to throw it out there, if you need an accommodation in order to compete, if you write your federation as well as the venue, they will accommodate you. So, no different than going to college or going to work, or if you need a health accommodation for some reason, have it put in writing. Don't be afraid. It doesn't make you any less of a competitor. However, you should give yourself every opportunity possible to compete in your best capacity. And if you need, special marks on the floor, or you need something to show you where like the end of the stage is or whatever, ask for it because you deserve to be there and you shouldn't have a handicap takeaway compared to everybody else in the room for something that you have no control over. So I hope, you take that and you use that if need be. And you relate, share that information with people. It's very important. I don't ever want to hear somebody say, I didn't sign up to compete because I have XYZ wrong with me. And I didn't know if they'd let that come, be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no different than, you'll see competitors of all different kinds on stage, and some of them are in wheelchairs, you know what I mean? And, they still compete, they still enjoy that because it gave them some part of their life back in a way. So yeah, that's one reason why we recommend going to a show, because you're going to see all different kinds of competitors.
Not just the people who see on social media.
Yeah.
You're not going to see just those people, right? Because social media is a highlight reel. Everybody puts their highlight reel. You only post things where you feel like you look really good. It's your favorite color. It's your favorite background. The stars aligned and everybody was smiling in the camera. You only see the highlight reel. It is very rare that someone posts a struggle and says, this is what's going on with me. Why? Because we get in our heads that we don't want to be a burden.
There's one that I can't remember her name right now, but I found her on TikTok, and she's actually doing the show here in Tampa that I'm watching. And she's going to the St. Pete show. And we're about the same time where we started the journey. So it's just nice to kind of talk to her and have somebody local.
Yeah. And connect with people. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Debbie on our pages, but connect with people. Like Debbie's a social butterfly. She'll connect with anybody. But it's great to see, hear her talk about, making friends backstage. Like talk to people. Like Now, there are some people that are so competitive they don't want to mess with you. And again, that's a them problem, not a you problem.
Yeah, no. We're all in the same boat. Let's have fun and support each other. And then also, I feel like on the female side, I appreciate that this is a competition where it is separated male and female, because women can support women to help women. And that I'm a big one on that. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. And I didn't know if there's a way within our chat that we do that to find people like in the area or something like that. Cause I know we're all over, but that'd be cool just to connect more with the people that I'm working out with on a daily basis and stuff like that.
Well, you can always go on our pages and say, hey, I'm located in blah, blah, blah area and I'm going to these shows. Is anybody attending? We're all down for, building a community.
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest with you, Sarah and I have never met in person. And we've been together. It's going to happen in October, y'all.
October.
It's happening in October. But it's been 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So the October, are you meeting at the show that I'm doing in October?
No, it'll be a different one.
Oh, I got excited. I was like, wait.
I know. It won't be the same one, but.
Okay. So, you can build friendships and entire empires with people you've never been in the same room with. So yes, I encourage everyone on here to connect online.
Yeah.
I know people are like, online friendships aren't real, blah, blah, blah. Well, I guess if you've never talked to them like this, yeah, you could say that.
I have a friend of mine that lives in Idaho that's a dog trainer. And in the last 6 months, I probably talked to Sarah more than I've talked to her. It's just that, connection that we make. There's times where I'll message her through the app and I'm like, she's probably like, shut up, girl.
No.
So let's take it back a step further, because we talked about the precursors to building that confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dialing in on your nutrition is really hard, and that will build confidence, because if you can knuckle down and do that, you can do damn near anything. The next thing is going into the gym and realizing that this is a hard one. Everybody in the gym, forwards, backwards, left, and right, wants something that somebody else has. Every person there, whether they're this big or this big, wants what somebody else has, including you. And you are all so caught up in your own strings of self-doubt that none of you are actually looking at each other. So when people are going to say, girl, nobody can see you. Nobody can see you. Everybody's coming up because they forgot to breathe. They got sparkly things in front of their eyes. They're self-loathing in the mirror, and they're thinking about what they need to do when they get there. And then they're telling themselves they don't belong there. Nobody's looking at you in the gym. So let's take that off the table. People are like, oh, people are whatever. They're probably thinking whatever. They don't have time to think. Do you have time to think in there? You're all the same. And mentally, in that hour, everybody is going through the same loop of emotions. Everybody else is. So take that off the table and instantly boost your confidence. Now, yes, we're taught that bras and underwear are bras and underwear, and swimsuits are swimsuits. Your posing suit is a swimsuit. Just a very expensive swimsuit that probably doesn't do well in like salt water or sun, because it's very special. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. It is not your bra and panties. It is a swimsuit. And as comfortable as it is at the beginning of summer, you'll force yourself into one for some reason or other, because somebody talked you into it. Or it's just hot. Get in a habit of wearing it around your house. Vacuum in it. I highly suggest vacuuming in your heels in your suit for those that struggle. Moving in your heels and pivoting. But watch that carpet now.
Carpet sucks.
Watch that carpet. I'm like, we're going to have a heel walking 101 class. It's going to come up here shortly, and we'll talk about how we don't pivot on our actual heels. We pivot on our toe. And we pick up the heel pivot. So don't try to with that heel down in a carpet, no. But I highly do suggest vacuuming the first floor, or the second floor, or whatever floor you have, whatever the largest floor in your house is, takes you longest. Go ahead, put on that pose and sit clean in it. Do the dishes in it. You can do it barefoot. You don't have to get in the heels the entire time. But I do recommend that one cleaning activity takes you a little bit longer, vacuuming, dusting. You do it in your heels and your suit. The more you walk in your heels, the more confident you will feel. The more hopefully you'll begin to correct your own gait and your hips. The reason why people look like Clydesdales is because they only put them on just for when they're going to take a picture to turn in for check-ins or for the half hour. And let's be honest, are you really hardcore practicing posing and walking for a half hour? No. You can't breathe. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. You're stopping 20 times because your feet are cramping. Your feet are cramping because you don't know how to walk in them heels because you don't practice enough. And it just feels awkward and uncomfortable. So out of that 30 minutes you designated, you might get an actual like 10 minutes of time. And doing that once a week is just not enough.
Yeah, when I started this, Sarah told me about doing chores with the heels. And so Sunday when I do meal prep of whatever length that is, I am in those the whole time doing meal prep and getting used to it and just being in them more and everything.
So then I encourage you to put your top on and your heels for 2-3 weeks during meal prep. Then in 4 weeks from now, you're going to put your bottoms on with it. You don't have to rip the Band-Aid off all at once. Add the top because it'll feel more comfortable, feel more natural, and you won't feel as exposed. And then you're going to add the bottom. And here's the thing. If Amazon comes or the mail person comes, well, look how lucky they are. You just gave them a highlight of their day. You should be like, you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope you live on that for 3 days.
I did. Yes. So yesterday I was doing my photos for my check-in today because I knew I was going to be rushing this morning. And there was a guy 2 doors down there doing a roof, and the guy came over and knocked on my door. And I'm like, oh shit, I have to like answer the door for this guy, that's there. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you and everything. And I was like, it's fine. He's like, and you're very beautiful. Like he was polite and everything. And I was like, cool. And then afterwards, like, I made that man smile. It's all good.
You're living in his head rent free for Lord knows how long. And you know what? He's welcome.
Yeah.
He's welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'm sure at the time you were flustered, right? You're like, oh my goodness.
When he knocked on my door, my heart skipped a few beats.
Like, oh, what is happening? But you did it, right? You did that hard thing. Like you're like, never have I ever, and never in the history of my life, or was it on the top 2,000 things to do?
Yeah.
Right.
But I did it. But I bet you afterwards there was a rush.
Yeah.
Yep. That adrenaline kicked in, and you're like, I can't believe I did it. I did that.
The thing that got me is like he was like super respectful, but at the same time he's like, you look beautiful. So I was like, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's a confidence boost, right? Like not saying, and I'm not saying that one, I don't want anyone to always or at all, you shouldn't have to rely on external validation, but it does feel good.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that feel good. Should you base your self-worth on it? No. But it does feel good for someone like, hey, you look really nice, or you've worked really hard, or I admire this quality about you, or, when people say, I could never do something like that. And my thing is, well, what would make you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
I won't go, well, neither did I. No, let's have a deeper conversation, right? Because you said we're all about helping other women. I'm going to help you. If you hit me and you're like, I couldn't do that, help me to understand why. Not why. That's confrontational. People don't like that. But help me to understand you. We very rarely get someone to say, help me understand you. In order to help me understand you, I have to understand me. And that's that hard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the day of your show, I can say most people, when they're practicing their walks and their posing, do it in a space about this big. So there's this part of, and I guess I'll add a little bit more of my background. So I coached college cheer for 6 years, and I grew up dancing competitively, and I cheered competitively until I was 38. So that muscle memory when your brain just goes, and it will go out the door as you are on deck to take the stage. So what you see in the back room, right, when everyone's walking, doing whatever, and what you see on stage, a lot of times for newcomers or unseasoned athletes are like looking at two different people. And that's why I say go to a show, because you'll see ladies and men strutting around like peacocks. And I love me some peacocks. Nothing against peacocks, but they be strutting around like peacocks. The ass all shaking out like, ooh, look what I got. And then they go on stage and they are like skittish, and their moves are jerky, and they're not flowing, and their shoulders have come in, and it's like all of this is something like, and you can see, I can see in people's brains and eyes when they have misstepped, forgotten a step, feel lost, don't know what to do next. The problem is that when that fight or flight kicks in, and it happens to everybody, some people are thrill junkies and they love it. It's like a dopamine hit. And other people are like, I hate this. I hate this part. Some people actually absolutely love the part up until competing, and they'll tell you, and they're like, why do you compete? And they're like, because that's what you're supposed to do, but they really don't love it. I don't know why they do it, but they do. But that muscle memory takes hold. So if you've ever done like a performance-based sport, or you show horses, right? Mm-hmm. You have to make that horse practice that ring and routine and steps in its full over and over again. You don't do a quarter of the course every day. No. And expect them to do the whole course. So why the hell are you doing a quarter of the course and expecting that you'll perform the full course when you go on stage? Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen that way. So if you're only in a 6x6 kitchen, and you're only walking and posing in 6x6 kitchen, your brain is only going to walk and pose in a 6x6 square. You need to practice walking in from the left. You need to practice walking in from the right. You have to be comfortable with, you may need to change your entire freaking suit because you got a blue sparkly suit. When you got there, everybody's in blue. And you're like, well, shit. So if you purchase two, you damn sure better love the second one, because odds are you're going to be wearing it that day. And you need to, again, practice changes. Practice like it's dress rehearsal. Practice getting in a suit, loving the way you look, and then going upstairs and putting another one on. If you buy your jewelry, make it go with those suits. Nobody gives a shit what your nails and toes look like. Doesn't matter what color it is. I don't know why we get those questions. Doesn't matter. Because on stage, you can't really see them. And the judges aren't looking. Yes, it looks polished. It does look polished. Like, should they be done? I'm going to say yes, they should be done. Like, even if you polish them yourselves, you don't have to have long acrylic nails or French tip or designs. But they should look like, you put all this time and money in. So just slap some polish on it if you can. I know they make that one Sally Hansen one coat stuff. Just let it dry. No one's going to be able to see if I have a chip, but invest the time in your hair, in your makeup, in the jewelry, in the costume, because it is the whole highlighting the whole look. If you have a really long face, don't get really long earrings, because it's going to emphasize. There's just things you should take into consideration when you balance all that out. When you get into that costume, and it is very much a costume, you're not in your panties, you're not in your underwear, you're in a costume ready to perform. And for you, that is no different than getting on your riding boots, grabbing your crop, and getting into your jacket and pants. You are putting on a uniform, very fancy uniform. And that is the time where I say you need to adapt your stage persona. Your stage persona. I can tell you, if you see me in the gym, I am sweaty, I am gross. Sometimes I'm more like a dude than a girl. But then when you see me out in public and I'm speaking, I am very different. And I am both those people. And when I perform, it's even a step further. Once the hair extensions go in and the eyelashes go on and the crazy lip color goes on, I'm a whole explosion of personality. That's a part of performing I enjoy. I know not everybody feels that way because they feel like they're playing dress up or Halloween. And that's why I say if you feel not confident wearing lip color, you better start practicing lip color.
No, I'm like kind of the same way when you're talking about that. Cause like when I do horse shows, there's certain ones where I'm on the ground and the horse is in hand, but you have to do a whole different makeup and everything in a costume. And you have to be in a different mindset than versus when you're on a horse. And my friend was saying when I started this, she's like, you do great at being able to put your mindset of where you need to for what you're doing right that minute. And then she's seen me come out of the ring and switch gears and do something else. And she's like, you shift with everything.
And that is a strength. That is a strength because you're becoming who you need to be for that moment to meet that task, right?
Yes.
And I wish that I could say, you know, I could sprinkle fairy dust and give that mindset to everybody, you know. And if you can, if you meet other people, share that with them.
It's just, it's the reason I have that mindset is if I'm going to do anything, if I'm going to get out of bed and brush my hair and teeth in the morning, I'm going to do 100%. I'm giving it my all. I'm not going to do anything halfway. If I'm going to go in the kitchen and make myself coffee, I'm going to go all the way and take that minute. How can I make this coffee have protein or be better for me versus just pouring a cup of coffee? Like everything I do, I want to try and make 1% better than yesterday, no matter what it is.
I've talked to people where they'll say, you know, I did great. I was ready to take the stage. And then I had to put on all that girly stuff and it just wasn't me. Well, the reason why I got that far into that division that you feel like wasn't suited to you is because you didn't practice getting that whole get up on ahead of time. So you didn't give your space to explore your comfort level. Some people like only love physique. Some people only love wellness. Some people only love bikini because they feel like it suits their personality more. But a lot of times, if we're really pressed to take the stage, and I always say, you know, we get somebody who gets like, there was a group of ladies locally, and I love them to death. They're a good time. But I guess one or two decided they were going to do a competition. A friend of a friend basically was going to promote a competition. They were going to have this competition. Next thing you know, like 12 of them were like, okay, F it, we're going to do it. I don't think anyone really understood what they were signing up for, you know, but they're just doing it, right? They're doing it because so-and-so said they're going to do it. And it was like the day of, you could see like the horse and like blinders, blank. How did I get here? How did I get here? And I'm like, well, you drove from your house, you got out your car and you checked in. And they're like, no, how did I get here? Because they didn't practice the full Monty, which is if you were not a makeup person, either go get your makeup done, get a makeup lesson, or start like watching YouTube videos. And it's okay if you wash it off, but like no different than I said, getting your heels and your suit in your house, walk around with a full face of makeup and lip color on.
Yeah.
You know, some people like, I remember when I was younger, I didn't like lipstick. I felt awkward in it. I just could not embrace it. Anything like a little bit more than my natural lip color, you know, but then I started doing makeup professionally and I was put into a world where we had a lot of required looks. Like basically be like, okay, next Friday, everybody has to look like this. Did you memorize the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Back then, cell phones didn't have cameras. Did you memorize this picture? Did you take notes? You have to look like this next Friday. And you're like, oh, okay. So it's like you have to learn to, you know, embrace it, because if you don't wear it and it makes you feel ridiculous, then the day of you're going to feel ridiculous.
Like for the show that I have coming up, I went and got makeup I thought would like, you know, work. I know shading might change as I get closer with the tan and all that stuff, but I got to the point I'm like, I shifted gears and decided since I'm going to this, I'm just going to have them do hair and makeup for my first one. It's kind of less mindset for me, but at the same time, I've made the makeup that I've gotten put on and go through everything. And like Saturday night I go out, but I put all of it on to have fun and enjoy it. And a friend of mine, she's like, you're going to wear your heels out to dinner. I'm like, we'll think about that one.
Hey, but your friend's onto something. Your friend's onto something. Even if you wear them with like a pair of dress slacks,
yeah,
well, you could rock them with jeans.
Yeah.
But again, it will give you practice on different surfaces, because some stages are laminate, some stages have carpet. Remember when Steph talked about that carpet at that one show? Some are old school wood and they're like very bouncy.
Yeah.
Because they're so well loved. Some are like floating dance floors and they have a little bit of spring to it. Yeah. So it's like practicing on multiple surfaces. Yes. You know,
I just didn't know where you're allowed to basically take your heels before a show and not destroy them. that's kind of where I'm at.
That's true. But for the most part, like those heels are they're pretty resilient.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're pretty good.
They're made pretty well. I can say whether they are from Pleaser Shoes or Shoe Fairy, the materials are made out of, even like the rhinestones, like as long as you're not like a foot rubber.
Yeah.
Or someone who kind of like picks their toe instead of like flat, but they have a tendency when they sit to
Roll.
do this.
Yeah.
And they're someone who grips the sides of things with their feet.
Mhm.
You know, as long as you're not doing those things, those heels are pretty sturdy. Like, I'm not gonna say wear them out in the rain and the snow.
Yeah.
But, you know, 3 seasons is okay out of 4. But 1, it'll help break them in. 2, it will help to see if there's any deficit in your hips, your knees, your ankles, and the arches of your feet. Because a lot of times what we need to correct is that people have stiff arches or stiff ankles or tight Achilles or tight calves, and they're doing weird things with their hips and their knees, which is why their gait is off. And then especially the pivoting and turning, because your center of gravity kind of has to move when you're in heels. Now, I can say Shoe Fairy's probably done one of the best jobs on trying to level that out so that rather than being up on your toes, you're kind of rocking back into your heel.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that Shoe Fairy is also not one size fits all, right? Like everybody has different shaped feet, they have different needs. And even Pleaser shoes, there's an art form to those just because you tend to carry your gravity goes all on your toes. It doesn't naturally go into that heel. And if you're not used to walking in like a stiletto like that, it can be a little unnerving to figure out how to balance on your toes but look like you're using the whole heel. But again,
I'm getting past the deer in headlights. It's been like a couple months.
But again, do those things. Wear them in the house. Wear your bikini top in the house with your heels, or whether it be like shorts or pants. Go out. If you have a posing suit that like doesn't have a lot of frill or rhinestone in it,
Mhm.
wear that shit underneath your going out clothes with your heels. Get used to the feeling of it on your body so it doesn't feel wrong.
There's also another way that you can get more comfortable, especially at home, is if you have a garage, practice posing with the garage door open. Not that everyone's going to see, but if someone walks by, it's still kind of
No
the
different
same
than the
concept.
delivery guy. No different than the delivery guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you're practicing out there, people might have some weird things they're thinking, but like...
I do not care about my neighbors. I've been here
zone.
15 years. They've been through some shit with me, so it's all good.
But it's one, it like Sarah said, it's that oh my goodness, somebody might see me, but not a full on everybody staring at you. You know, one of the worst things I can say is don't submerge. I've seen coaches submerge and basically be like, well, this week when you come in, in a gym, this week when you come in, you have to come in your suit. And they're like, well, what's wrong? You're going to have to do it in front of people. Okay, we cannot just throw somebody into the fire. We cannot throw them into the ocean and be like, sink or swim. And this is why I say, do all these precursor things. I think that either a lot of coaches are just not realizing that there's all these steps that mentally have to happen before we get to physically doing things. And that some people, it's going to take time because maybe they were raised really in really conservative families, or they were told certain things about their bodies growing up, or maybe they're in a religious community where, you just don't show people that you're walking around in a swimsuit. There are so many reasons where we just might not feel comfortable with ourselves yet, right? Like we've had a really long journey and we've got that mental hang up where our body isn't where we want it to be yet. So we feel really self-conscious. So no, you cannot just catapult somebody into a high school auditorium and be like, okay, just do it. Confidence is a mindset. Just do it. You'll lose them. So have the hard talks with yourself. Speak the things that you are afraid of or that are hanging up out loud or in a mirror. And I can tell you, saying them out loud is easier. Actually looking yourself in the eye is hard. Like, we think it's hard to look other people in the eye. Try looking yourself in the eye. Like, that's another homework assignment. Go in the mirror, look at yourself in the eye, and really look at yourself in the eyes and say what it is you need to say. It is so fucking hard to say it out loud. I don't know why it's hard to be vulnerable with ourselves, but it is. It is. And there's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way, but you have to start there in order to build up to go to the next thing. But if you try to catapult yourself and just be like, I'm going to walk in this 6x6 space and I'm only going to practice on Saturday morning for 10 minutes. I said it's 30, but let's be honest, it's 10 because my ribs hurt. You're not going to feel ready. And it's going to be very unnerving. It's going to add to everything you're already feeling that show day. I don't want anybody to walk in there feeling like that. Not after you work so hard to get there. That's not being fair to you. And that makes me sad for people because I want to be like, you deserve to be here. You deserve to enjoy this. But there are these little things. And I always say it's no different than planning like a party or a wedding or a baby shower. You plan all these big things, right? The gym, the nutrition, the suit, whatever. That little shit's like the freaking favors and the prizes and stuff. You forget about that. And that's what gives you all the panic the day before. It is the same thing. Like practice wearing the lipstick, the eyelashes, walk around in those damn shoes that are making your feet cramp, like put that posing suit on in your house while you're doing your Sunday chores. And albeit put it underneath your going out outfit or hell, even underneath your work sweater that day, if it need be, to get used to the feeling of it on your body so that when you put it on, it feels just as natural as putting on your bra and underwear every day.
So I work for a pool company. We build and remodel swimming pools, and it's a smaller family company. And I told my boss about this when I started it in May, and he said that he wants 1 month before my show that I actually wear my suit to work on a Friday. He's like, I'm challenging you to do it. He goes, if you can wear your suit here, and he goes, you can go home. He goes, just for the hell of it, I want you to wear it into the office. I'm like, okay.
Girl, you got a village. You got a village. You got to bring your mama that day to work. Bring your mom to work day with the suit.
I'm like, let's put the fact that we have like 10 guys in my office. So like there's 2 women and 10 guys, but he wants me to wear it. He's like, do it. You're allowed. I'm not saying you can't. He goes, it'll help your confidence. You know these people. I've been around them for 6 years. They're like brothers, He's like, so do it.
I'd make him eat his words. I'd show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, again, build that confidence. And after this discussion day, if you have questions, you can find me on social media. Reach out if you have a question. I always tell people once you connect with us, if it's like, 2 months later and you're like, wait a minute, I should have asked blah, blah, blah. Go ahead, reach out or post it in the thread because whatever you're asking, if you tag one of us, we'll respond as soon as we can. Might benefit somebody else. If you're like, Holly, can you do something like, can you have a talk about XYZ or, hey, Sarah, I read that you wrote whatever. Do you think you could have a discussion addressing blah, blah, blah? We'll do it. We'll do it because if it'll help one person, it'll help 10.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So I'm going to it's 9:57. I'm going to get everybody a snack, bathroom break, refill your water, and get yourself ready for your posing practice.
I think I got to go put my heels on knowing how Miss Sarah wants me to do stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to try to pop on for a little bit. I might not be in there the whole day. That's okay. It's football season.
That's all right. No worries. I'm going to pop off here and thank you, Holly, for having this discussion. We'll have a recording as well. But we'll get set up. I have to take my computer to go get set up in the other room and, all that fun stuff. But we will chat here more soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
There we go.